Good Rancher.
The snowman dreams about summer days. Can you find the things he would like to try? Can you point to it with your beeps? Randy.
Bad Rancher.
After all I do for you, after all Daddy Rancher does for you, this what you f***ing give me?
Go with the Good Ranchers. 100% American-sourced steakhouse quality meat. Subscribe today at goodranchers.com/Crowder and lock in your $25 off every box for the entire life of your subscription. Good Ranchers. American meat. Delivered.
I started smoking. That's why hearing that instead of a sip. Look, it's been a very stressful year, and look, I haven't introduced him yet, but I blame Dave.
Sorry, I thought it would be a funny prank, and apparently sneaking nicotine into your coffee every day.
No, and it's also a horrible delivery mechanism because if you consume nicotine in liquid form orally, I just get sick.
I noticed that. A lot of vomiting.
Yes.
But it's good now, though. You've only had... was that your 9th today?
Well, and that's the problem because they stopped. I had to start smoking Pall Malls. They stopped selling Chesterfields.
I know Pall Malls just don't have the nice smooth pull of a Chesterfield.
Recommended by 4 out of 5 doctors.
Oh, easy.
And if you know anything about me, it's that I'm a Chesterfield man.
Yep. If a woman's pregnant, they assure you lucky strike. 9 out of 10 is the way to go.
Yep.
Hold up, Dave, you're out of focus.
Oh.
Dave is out of focus. All right, look, glad to be with you today. We have a lot to get to. Baby formula shortage is a big deal. Also, I want to talk about the CDC. No one's talking about this, the new crime stats that were released, and the CDC presented it with the preface that it's because of systemic racism, because of systemic oppression. That's why you're going to see the statistics that you see. Spoiler, it's not. It doesn't add up. The baby formula shortage. Okay, look. My question to you is, what's your best suggestion for an alternative? First person who answers tits gets banned. Though correct. I'm open to all suggestions here.
That's all I had.
Yeah, I'm open to all suggestions. Here's the thing. This is, look, what elects Democrats today is white, suburban, middle class, upper middle class women. This is an opportunity. This hits them. It starts with, hey, I can't get baby formula. Why? It's a really valuable opportunity right now. And this is because, and I know not everyone, I know if you're watching right now, the woman watching this, the lady watching this, you're engaged. But you also have to understand that you're an anomaly. Typically, statistically, women, white suburban women, are not engaged in politics and vote because they tend to be more agreeable. They want to do the nice thing. And so they believe that the Democratic Party is more empathetic. So only when it comes to their doorstep, to your doorstep, does it require thinking about these issues. That's what's happening with the baby formula issue right now. And I can't tell you how many women I've spoken with who say, I can't get baby formula. I said, well, I have twins, so we run in these circles. I said, well, why do you think that is? Like, I don't know. Well, guess what? Let's make sure they know. You saw the segment yesterday where it was just, talking with people, which is going to be a new segment. You can comment below that versus Change My Mind, what you like. We still plan on doing both. It just is predicated on the idea of if you talk with people and let them explain their position, you'll realize they often don't have one. And they go, well, what do you think about it? What do you think it should be? And then you can suggest information rather than arguing your point like you're on a cable news show. We have that opportunity, all of you, right now, with the baby formula shortage. Sure, a few babies are going to have to starve for us to get there, but you know what? Look, them's the breaks. Take it up with the FDA, not me. Okay, We're talking about that, and of course, in studio because he is with child, not here. Gerald B. is still with us.
I've had just about enough of your lip.
Oh, geez.
Oh. Yeah.
There's a supply chain issue with the polythurane.
I was hoping that hole would get bigger.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't. It was getting a little lippy.
Enough lip.
How you doing there, Gerald A?
I'm well. How are you?
How's the little one?
Little one's doing fantastic. He was 9 pounds 9 ounces.
Oh, good Lord.
Giant baby.
So maybe the shortage will do him some good.
Well, no, he's on the boob, thank God, and
Is he on
plenty of supply.
He should be on Baby Watchers.
Yes. Tell the missus I look forward to her walking again.
Yeah,
that is quite.
He's doing fantastic. 22.5 inches long.
Wow.
Good Lord.
He's bigger than Luke at birth.
And by the way, Gerald's baby.
He's bigger than me now.
His first baby was the biggest baby I've ever seen in my life. I remember when I saw him, I think he was maybe 9 months at that point. I said,
Yeah.
How old is he? He said 9 months. I said, come on, how old is he?
No, really.
He looked like he was 2.
He's very, large human being.
He sent me a video of him
Sorry.
dancing to Ghetto Cowboy, and I was like, I didn't know you had a teenager.
Especially when he said, I hate you, Dad. I'm like, that's not a 1.5-year-old.
It started early.
All right, now, of course.
Congratulations, though. That's so awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You've heard him, you love him, and we're in Tulsa this week, and that's sold out. But we do have shows in together in Colorado Springs, June 18th. There still are some tickets available for the early show.
Not a lot.
Not a lot at Landau. Dave, how are you?
Good. Ahoy. How about you, sir?
I'm doing all right. Now, oh my gosh, look at
Is that still lit?
Ah, jeez, now it's ash all over.
They're supposed to go out so they don't kill you in bed, but apparently Chesterfield still have that old recipe.
Let me see. Is this still lit? No.
Oh, yeah.
I hate the smell of smoke.
Oh, I love cigarettes. You don't like the smell of cigarettes?
No.
It reminds me of my childhood.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I had a great childhood. I'm just saying. The cigarette
I had a
smoke
French
was
Canadian childhood. We were in a
part of it,
3-bedroom apartment with 25 chain smokers.
not-
Yeah.
That's, well.
Yeah, all I smelled
Sorry.
was smoke, really,
Yeah,
for
exactly.
the first 15, 20 years of my life. Well, then I smoked until I was 20. I smoked until I was 30, 29,
Wow.
and one day from 30.
Well, I would go to Grandma Ma's house for for Easter dinner and come back with a black lung.
That's very nice.
And by the way, hey guys, look, we don't know what's going to be happening here. YouTube is now making some changes that we can't fully. But if we don't let you know that we're not doing a show, you can always go over to Rumble, right? Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Of course, on Mug Club, we do an extra full 45 minutes, sometimes an hour of show. Today is Chat Thursday.
Yeah.
Which is always a lot of fun, where we take as many chats as we possibly can, as opposed to playing a gamer segment. So, all right, let's get to the news, shall we? You been keeping abreast?
Something happened
See,
when
it's
I was
'cause
gone?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I've just been thinking about babies the whole time.
And you don't have to worry about the shortage at all because
No.
damn titties work.
Well, but I also chest fed,
Damn titties work.
and it works.
Get to work.
So I'm just saying, man.
Make it work.
Feed too.
I'm sorry, Gerald's wife, for watching. This is not. I don't mean it in any type of obviously not disparaging, and I don't want to say wonderful breasts, but I just what? Let's go to the setup.
Just casually slip that in.
Said it
Fine.
again.
I don't want to. So Best Buy.
Fine. What a lucky baby.
Oh, son of a bitch! Don't throw a Built Bar. Don't throw the sponsorship, for crying out loud.
What else do I have to throw?
You know what we should do for the
Yeah.
next Built Bar commercial is just place them gently
No.
between the
No?
wife. I'm just
Oh,
saying.
that is totally something I agree with.
Yes.
Let me get the knife out again.
Oh, yeah, that is true. We did give him a giant blade.
yeah, and then started talking trash.
Very impractical weapon, by the way, a kitchen knife like that.
Well,
There's no hand guard. Okay.
That's true.
You know who wishes that they had a knife like that is apparently Best Buy. They only hire the cream of the crop when it comes to their employees. Here's some stuff that has been going down recently. Security camera footage.
yeah.
Okay, watch. Here you go.
Nice average shoppers. Yeah. Well, free.
Well, at least they're casual about it.
Yes.
That one guy can't get the one out.
Not drawing any
let go.
attention. Oh, and there's blocking him. Oh, yeah, there's the
on.
security guard by the front. Oh,
That's just someone who's had enough.
yeah.
Nice. I didn't see that before. I saw the part where they were like shuffling back and forth, but not the takedown.
That's the first time I've ever seen a Best Buy employee. Every time I'm there, I'm like, hey, no help with
Nobody here?
anything?
No.
I'm going to go. I'll just go online then. Thank you.
We'll only help with the 15% restocking fee.
Yeah, then they're happy.
The return
to help
policy
you, yeah.
with a 15% restocking
It's
fee.
wonderful.
What? Yeah, well, we have to pay it. We have to restock it. You mean you have to take it from me and put it there? And that's 15%. I don't think you deserve 15 an hour. I think you should live under a bridge.
Yeah. Now, if you're that
Nice
guy,
one.
though, who's tackling him on the way out,
Yeah.
25 an hour, easy.
By the way, that first one you could tell. Can we watch that again? Play that again. This is unfortunately the reality of the racism bred by the rhetoric here in our country. So of
Yes.
course you see, okay,
Look at the top left criminal.
more.
Everybody
one
else
of them
is successful.
One of them is more ethnic, and then look at the one security guard. Look at the one security guard. That employee right there. That's a little white guy. He's rolling up his pants. Here you go. Look.
Boom.
But you see that one guy? He's white. This could be the Bay Area. I have no idea. He's rolling up his pants. He's like, all right, okay, I've had enough. Bye.
Yep.
Yeah, call me racist all you want. Here we go.
He's like an
it.
NBA guy. He's like,
Yeah. I could have gone pro. This is my moment to get back.
Yes, exactly. Well, it's like in Detroit. This is what happens is when you keep breeding the racial division and telling people they can steal, you have people who are not racist, whether they're white, whether they're Asian, and they say, all right, that's enough. You get rooftop Koreans. You get the Detroit violence where there was the rebound effect after the riots, where then it wasn't entirely a race war before that. That's actually what sparked what ended up being more of the racial tensions in Detroit. It wasn't the culmination to the race riots in Detroit. That made it worse than ever before. And when you allow people to commit crimes and you go, and I'm not saying that all black people are committing crimes, let's be very clear. What I'm saying is that the leftist party, the Democratic Party, decides to go out and say, well, these people need to be able to, let's be empathetic to it. I'll read you the CDC stats later where they say, well, crime has gone up, specifically only one demographic, but it's clearly due to racism. When you do that, the people who are the victims of crimes decide that they've had enough. And you run the risk of when you label the criminals exclusively by race, but saying but it's their race, but it's not their fault because of the race, it's your fault because of their race. Guess what? People say, I guess this is a race thing. Also the restocking fee.
Yes, and also, well, usually when you walk out casually, you can get away with it. Or if an alarm goes off ever, like CVS, they're just like, hey, I'm white. And they're like, that's fine.
Yeah.
They honestly, they don't care.
When I get pulled over by a police officer, I have tinted windows, highly
Yeah.
illegal, and I just roll it down and go,
And they're like, oh, sorry, sir.
oh, geez.
be
And
on
then
your way,
I'm
good
sorry.
sir.
And they give you your choice of cupcake or cookie.
Yeah. Then they see the Hodge twin in the passenger seat. They're like, we're going downtown.
Yes.
Son of a
let's
bitch!
go. I didn't know you had your drug dealer with you.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know you had what is that, blue eyes? Is that a vampire from Blade?
Yeah.
That's odd.
Anytime I got caught really shoplifting was I was stealing a bong that was 3 feet long and I just casually put it into a springtime jacket.
I'm sure wherever the locale from which you were stealing the bong, they probably weren't on top of it to realize.
No, the security guard did, though, and I walked out and there was a giant mall and they were like, excuse me, you have a graphics bong with a clown on it hanging out of your coat. And I was like, what? 'Cause I was drunk?
He goes, how do you know it's a bong? Because he just left Spencer's.
Yeah.
Also, I can see the plasma ball in your shorts.
Yeah,
Well, isn't it?
Did you have to bring a lava lamp with you? And
The poopy poster.
And
Yeah.
a Carmen Electra poster.
yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, Cindy Crawford drinking a Pepsi.
All available to minors.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Spencer's. Right next to the Yankee Candle Store. Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah. Huh.
The spirit of Christmas right next to total degeneracy.
Right. Yeah.
It really is. You guys go over
then
there and
tilt.
play in that store.
I can go pick up a nice Douglas fir scented candle and then a double-sided dildo next door. Thank you, Spencer's.
Wow.
A Douglas fir handcuff set.
Yes, exactly. Is Spencer still around? I haven't been to a shopping mall in
so.
years. I hope not.
They are. They are, sadly. Yeah, they are.
Gosh.
Oh man.
All right. I don't know who Spencer is, but I don't like him. You know who else I don't like? And I had no idea he was this crazy. James Cromwell. You probably know him from Step Brothers. And he's one of those guys who appears in movies, and you go, he's that guy from that thing.
Yeah.
And he, along with some other protesters, glued themselves to a New York Starbucks counter over, and here's the thing, it's an animal rights thing, but see if you can spot the privilege.
When will you stop charging us more for vegan milk? When will you stop raking in huge profits?
It's not about the animal rights.
Animals and
It's about the
environment
premium.
suffer. When will you stop penalizing people for their ethnicity
He's
or
gotta
their
read it.
morals? The senseless
Memorize his lines.
upcharge hurts animals.
Yeah, if you're reading it, what's your belief in that?
The senseless upcharge hurts animals. That's what he's saying. It's like there's a rooster going 45 cents.
No.
No, what? Ah,
For vegan?
thanks, Biden.
Let's go, Brandon.
If your biggest problem in the world right now is the extra money for vegan milk, you have the best life.
And
By
you're
the way-
a millionaire.
Yeah, you have the best life.
I would imagine that it's also more labor intensive. I have not tried to milk an oat,
No.
but
Or a plant of some sort. I don't know.
what'd you get? The steel cut? What's wrong with you, Roger? You know we got to get the old fashioned rolled son of a bitch.
I think it's just milk, and they put lactate in it and blend it, and they're like, yeah, it's from an almond. There's
Yeah.
no way. How do you milk an almond?
No, it's probably like what is that? It's New Jack City. It's just except
Yeah.
they just have a bunch of oats going by and a
Yeah.
bunch of naked ladies. Just all right, there you go. There's your oat milk.
Enjoy.
Stupid vegan milk. Just call it what it is. Crap. So apparently Starbucks, I guess they charge an extra 70 cents for the dairy alternative is what they charge. Okay. What's going on here?
Oh,
Can't take
no.
it anymore, Steven.
What are you talking about?
The Amber Heard trial, you're treating her so unfairly on your show.
What?
I hate it.
This is a protest over Amber Heard?
Okay,
Yes, I have
Finnegan,
super glued my
you
hand
need
to
you
the
need
desk.
to compartmentalize and keep your personal life out of your work.
Yeah, we
all right?
already let you off easy for all the turds in the studio, and
Yeah.
I don't know why you're doing this.
Yeah.
Well, little known fact, James Cromwell is a personal hero of mine, and I saw how well the Starbucks thing went.
What didn't actually go that? Is this
I don't think it went
this is a
well.
you used a glue stick?
Oh my
outta
gosh.
here. Get out of here.
Oh my.
Oh my heavens! Oh no!
Holy cow.
Oh no!
He rolled well.
Okay.
His bone's sticking out.
Yeah, I know.
He
That's
used
fine.
a
That's what we
glue
call a
stick?
compound. So, you know about Senator Manchin?
Love him.
Well, the cigarettes make sense. I saw Mean Streets.
Who flicks a cigarette?
Oh, it's the greatest insult
That's
ever.
the one thing
it's
we
worse
lost
than
with
spitting at
cigarettes
somebody.
going away.
Have you never
Yeah.
flicked a cigarette at somebody?
Oh my gosh, it feels
never.
so good.
Oh, I have so many times.
There's so few. It's the simple joys in life. Like
Yeah.
a good flick of a cigarette at a hobo.
Yeah. Or in a convertible.
Oh yeah.
I've done that many times.
Yes.
Or onto like rags in a department store?
Not
right?
recently.
No, not at Rags at a department store.
Oh, did I go?
I do it on the CDs at Best Buy.
far?
Like who has a CD player?
Like, damn. I mean, it's my friend's car with them in it, but I flick it in the back and I watch them panic.
Walk away.
They had it coming.
Yeah.
So Senator Manchin, he just joined Republicans. You may know about this to stop the Women's Health Protection Act. Now, let me just preface this with, I know you're hearing Women's Health Protection Act. That sounds nice. It's not. It has nothing to do with women's health. Let Manchin. And by the way, I don't agree with Senator Manchin on a whole lot.
Right.
But it's funny that he's persona non grata to the Democratic Party because I will say, even among all politicians, just from the standpoint of not appearing like a crazy Satanist, he speaks normally. I find him actually very agreeable as far as his personality goes. Here he is explaining why he refused to support the Women's Health Protection Act, and the explanation matters.
The bill we have today to vote on, the Women's Health Protection Act, and I respect people who support, but don't make no mistake, it is not Roe v. Wade codification. It's an expansion. It wipes 500 state laws off the books. It expands abortion. And with that, that's not where we are today. We should not be dividing this country further than we're already divided. And it's really the politics of Congress that's dividing the country. It's not the people. They're telling us what they want. And it's just disappointing that we're going to be voting on a piece of legislation which I will not vote for today.
It's almost like he's too normal, so I don't trust him because he's a politician.
What's the play? What's his angle?
Yeah, what's his angle?
You know?
What, you want us to think you're normal? That
He
doesn't seem...
seems
Sucker us in.
folksy.
Yeah, he does.
And his name's
He's from West Virginia,
Manchin.
right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, maybe that. Yeah, he could be.
Something wrong going on there.
Southern charm, though, goes a long way.
So before you bring up the picture that I referenced, the first thing, let me just reference the bill here so you know. The Women's Health Protection Act, you've heard me talk about how the left, and if you watched yesterday's installment on the street, actual leftists, about 50% of the Democratic Party, they believe in abortion all the way up until and including birth on demand, period. And if they would have their way, it would be subsidized, you know, just like your basket weaving degree.
Wow.
So the bill would have, and I'm reading a quote here, among other things, it would have banned a prohibition. So it would have banned a prohibition. So it would have banned a ban,
Right,
just to be clear.
basically.
It would have disallowed a prohibition on abortion after fetal viability when, in the good faith medical judgment of the treating healthcare provider, continuation of the pregnancy would pose a risk to the pregnant patient's life or health. So really quickly, that means that this Women's Protection Act would allow abortions of babies like that. Just to be clear. Oh, it's in the womb. Okay, but that's what's in the womb. You have to look at it.
Yeah.
That's why they oppose the ultrasound legislation, where you just have to have an ultrasound, because you're killing that. This bill would make it illegal for states to ban killing that.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago today, we were within 12 to 24 hours of having our kid.
Yep.
We could have pulled the plug then.
You could have pulled the plug right then.
On a 9-pound, probably 8-9 ounces already, right there at that.
Well, your
birth
baby
weight.
at like 6 months was 8
Well,
pounds.
yeah, I'm just saying. But I'm just saying, like,
I would have brought it
that's
to a
what would have
pet
been
cemetery to get you back.
Wouldn't have worked.
One of us. Was that Pet Cemetery?
No, that was
Children of the
Freaks.
Corn.
Pet Cemetery is where
Yeah.
the little kid comes back.
Oh, okay.
And
Well.
he did.
As opposed to the one where the car comes back, because
Yeah.
Stephen King is just
Kinda
he's
one
the most
note.
talented author ever.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. Sometimes
Like
they come
Christine.
back.
Sometimes something Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile, I don't know. It's
Wow.
not like they all bleed together.
Oh, a lot of stuff comes back. Shawshank, or I think Green Mile, best one. My
So,
opinion.
and also, let's be clear: the patient's life or health. That's also health can also include mental health. What can
Stress.
could be stress.
Yeah.
And a 7-8 month baby might stress her out. It stresses every pregnant mother out.
Yeah.
You ever met a 7 or 8 month pregnant woman who seems chill?
It's kind of when things are going hot and heavy.
So
I have to say yes.
really,
Yeah.
was your missus she was relaxed all the way up until?
I have to be honest. Yeah, 100%.
You are very fortunate.
Very,
my
very
friend.
fortunate.
Yeah,
Yes.
honestly. And yeah, I can honestly say
My
that.
wife was
That's
great.
good.
Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying. There's a lot
Compliments
going
Yeah,
where
on.
but
they're
she was
due.
stressed.
A lot going on, yeah.
Yeah, she was stressed.
Well,
the
no, when you
nesting
have the
phase.
baby, there's stress, and it's like that's part of it, though. That's sacrifice to bring another life into the world.
yeah.
And then you sacrifice the life if you're a Democrat.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Yeah, you can either sacrifice sleep or the baby.
where else do you get child sacrifices from, Dave?
Yeah.
Good point.
That's the problem. Is they're taking their code book from the Mayans. Now, Senator Elizabeth Warren was upset that the Constitution, of course, is standing in the way of killing 7 and 8 month babies. And let's be clear, I am using that term because it's what it is. We're no longer at the point of arguing viability. That's a non-issue. We're no longer at the point of arguing rape or incest. That's a non-issue. The Democrats wanted to ban. If they would have their way at a federal level, they would ban any limitations for any reason on abortion all the way up until 9 months, period. That's the party platform. Well, you got to say Democrat. That's the party platform.
Yeah.
Just to be clear. So if you don't believe, people say, "Oh, you don't want to be a single issue voter." If you don't believe that 7, 8, 9 month babies should be aborted, or at least if you don't believe that no state should be able to place a restriction on the killing of a 7, 8 month baby, you are precluded from ever pulling the lever for someone with a D next to their name. It's not the only issue, but it is a closed-handed issue. So Elizabeth Warren is so upset about the Constitution standing in the way of killing these 7 and 8 month babies that she decided to do what Elizabeth Warren does, which means, ramble, cackle.
I believe in democracy. And I don't believe that the minority should have the ability
51-49.
to block things that the majority, want
majority.
to do. That's not in the Constitution.
Does she need to grab a dictionary?
Maybe.
Maybe a thesaurus?
I like that she's always wearing the exact same thing.
Yes.
She wears it well.
Yeah.
She's
just
the
really,
Steve Jobs of Congress.
Yeah, she really is.
She's like RoboCop, where if you take she actually has no shoulders.
Yeah.
Just in the suit. She's Earthworm Jim.
She's really just a head.
A head and a tube. With, of course, feathers from her non-Native American tribe.
Of course, at some point, Murphy had a soul.
Yeah. Just, she doesn't understand majority, minority, 51. Also, by the way, the Constitution is about the majority, not the minority not having their rights infringed upon by the majority. She just doesn't. None of what she discusses is correct. She doesn't understand that we are a constitutional republic. We are a representative republic, and she also doesn't understand what a basic majority minority is. Is this the Common Core math?
I think so. That may be why.
Did it predate our segment by like 9 decades?
I think she's like, well, look, I get that the majority of people elected to vote on this voted this way, but if you take a poll of people, they especially if you focus on California and New York, they say, yeah, that's totally fine.
That's, pardon my language, if you have kids. I just need to I'm and also the cigarettes are getting to me. It's complete horseshit when they try and say the majority of Americans know. Yeah. When you ask the majority of Americans, what do you think about Roe v. Wade? I think it's a 60-something% where they say, well, we don't think it should be overturned. Then the vast majority of Americans believe that abortion should be impermissible after the first trimester. And guess what? If you actually discuss with Americans what happens within that first trimester, like a heartbeat, like development, like fingers and toes, guess what? Their opinion changes even more. It doesn't take a lot to educate people on this issue. You saw it yesterday where I was standing on the corner with 4 black people, 4 African American, whatever term you want, people of color. I'm just going to go with black. And they said, we're pro-choice. This is a woman's right to choose. I said, well, is there like a limitation? They said, yeah, because like at a certain point, I don't know, it becomes like murder. And I said, so would you say like a heartbeat? And they said, yeah, definitely not after a heartbeat. That's messed up. There you go. That's all it took.
Done.
That's all it takes. Just a little bit of education and talking with people. But if you're afraid to do it because you're afraid to offend your friends, guess what? You're not being a good friend. You know who's a good friend of the show? Look, he's like a Ben Shapiro. Good ranchers.
That's right.
Good ranchers. And they're kosher. I don't know.
Don't mess that one up.
They're absolutely not.
So Good Ranchers is you get your meat delivered, and here's what's really this is a ribeye, and it is absolutely delicious. It's all USDA choice or higher, and it's American meat. They have chicken too, they have pork. It's all American meat. A lot of the meat that you're getting at the store doesn't come from the United States. So they work with small local ranchers so that they can deliver the food to you. They cut out the middleman so you get a good price. It's better than stuff that you get in the grocery store, and the prices are comparable. And you need to try what is it they have, the new the Wagyu burger?
Those Wagyu burgers are great. I've had them.
The American Wagyu. They're individually wrapped, so they're easy to cook. You can also just use them like in tacos and stuff, but I just eat it like a Salisbury steak. So for a limited offer, you get 2 pounds of free American Wagyu.
Wow.
And you get free shipping when you use the promo code Crowder at goodranchers.com/Crowder. I think you get like a $25 off every delivery for the lifetime of the thing.
Yeah. And then the American Wagyu is good for the month of May.
Oh, for the month
for
of
the
May.
month of May. All right.
Well, it lasts longer than the month of May because it's frozen.
Yeah.
Well, meaning the purchase. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Can I have the ribeye?
Can you have the? Yeah, you can have the ribeye.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
I'll get it after the show.
No.
Ribeye is so underrated.
It is.
Yeah, when I go to a store, I don't get the. When I go to a steakhouse, I don't get the fillet. I get the ribeye.
Yeah, I get the ribeye. It's so good.
Yeah.
Damn
People
right.
just, they think it's filet.
There is a place though here. I don't know if I can say the name, but they're very affected. The places that we like, but there's that one place that's very affected. It has a poster of Anthony Bourdain giving the finger. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. I do.
You have one of the things, right? So, and they were charging like $200 a steak.
Wow.
And I said, "What are you? $200 for this steak?" They go, "Well," and it wasn't even like Wagyu or Kobe. And
How did you know?
that was just to order the whole left side of the menu.
Oh, right. I got
Saltgrass Steakhouse.
I forget.
Yeah, they call it the Guy Fieri special.
I order big. They call it the Stelter.
Yes. No, so this place, they $200. And they say, I said, come on, this is ridiculous. It's a little expensive. You seem like you're a little affected. They go, well, sir, have you ever had a properly aged... Let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to kick your ass.
But it will.
Like every other steakhouse got it wrong and they somehow got it right. And the steak actually wasn't even that good. It was actually probably one of the worst ribeyes I've ever had. Like, we properly age it. And because we properly age it, there is no seasoning whatsoever, tenderizing, and it sits in a locker. I get it. I understand the process. You're overcharging because you're a prick. Now.
Yeah, the locker is at a Planet Fitness.
Yes.
So we let fungus grow on it. Yeah. We cut it off.
We let it grow in a locker of foot.
Yes. It's no good.
Not good at all. Yes.
With a nice jockstrap glaze. More of a reduction, really.
Ever seen Seinfeld where he poisons the whole troop? Yeah, it's pretty much like that.
Yes.
I assure you at the end of the meal, you will be disappointed.
Yes.
$200, please.
Yes. And we discourage you from leaving Yelp reviews.
Yes, please.
We turn them off. We have a geofence.
We pay them handsomely to not allow them to
leave. Let's talk about this, the formula shortage. Okay.
Yeah.
This is something that a lot of you know about, and this is something that affects families across the country, myself included, and is a real opportunity, like we just talked about the abortion issue, to discuss this, particularly with mothers of new children. It just starts with the question, why? Invariably, someone's bitching about it, right? They're like, I can't believe this food shortage. I can't believe this formula shortage. Why do you think that is? And there, to be fair, there are quite a few reasons as to why, but the overall reason is, of course, an inept government and red tape, and there's a problem can be created by a business, and then the government can make it worse.
Well, and it's never been extremely cost effective or abundant ever, really.
Right? Yeah. Baby formula.
Yeah.
Well, it's tough to compete with America's favorite gland, the bitty
gland. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Free the boobs.
Yep.
Free the boobs.
So America's shortage may be the worst yet, and it has mothers that are struggling to feed their children.
Taylor Miller can't allow even a drop of formula to go to waste.
So you're rationing formula?
Rationing formula. Yeah. Never did I think I would ever be rationing
Come on, fix the
formula.
ponytail. You're on air.
Baby.
The Katy, Texas mom now feeds daughter Magnolia 2 ounces every 2 hours instead of 4 ounces every 4. In hopes of avoiding leftovers she might have to throw out because it's spoiled.
Or literally waste a whole tank of gas in a day trying to find formula and maybe only find 1 can.
Hey, why is gas expensive? This happened yesterday in that segment where the one guy said, well, it's going to be really expensive to go and get abortions out of state because gas is crazy expensive. And I said, really? Yeah, it's pretty bad. And then his girlfriend said, it's not that bad. I said, you're trying to couch it because you can't accept responsibility for it. Yeah, you know what? There's a shortage. That's terrible. Yeah. Hey, why is gas expensive? Hey, why would the ingredients that you might need to create your own formula, why are those expensive? Why is there a shortage there? It can't all be COVID. It just begs these questions. And of course, the media can't do that, just like the media can't go out for an hour and a half and talk with people on the street because that's not what they do. So,
what kind of sociopath goes to get an abortion and is like, yeah, and $63 in gas? And
I know.
Like, what is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
It cost me so much money to kill this thing.
Crying out loud.
Stop for McDonald's? That's a whole nother bill.
Stop. It's not all about you.
What kind of mindset do you have to have?
I can't imagine.
An evil one.
And then the states that are advertising, like, you want an abortion? Come to California, where we can still kill your child. I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
well,
any self-awareness at all?
Yeah, they do have self-awareness. They realize that that's the only thing they have left.
Oh.
They have Hollywood and abortions. So nationwide,
so the same thing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
43% of the popular brands of formula are out of stock.
Wow.
And in January through July 2021, the rate was between 2 and 8%. Between November 21 and April 22, the rate rose from 11% to 31%. So 6 states, half of all baby formula was sold out during the last week of April. You have Texas, Tennessee, Missouri, South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa. And yesterday, actually, one of our producers here went to. So I've been looking online and stopping by stores, but our producer, and he happened to film it, which really I should have been thinking about that. He went to 6 stores looking for formula. He went to Target, he went to Kroger, he went to Tom Thumb, he went to Walmart, he went to CVS, he went to Bye Bye Baby. I didn't even know they sold formula at Bye Bye Baby.
They do.
I just thought they sold very overpriced strollers and bassinets.
Also that.
They sell formula. Yeah. There you go. They also sell lead paint chips to make the formula go further.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's like a thickener.
To help you get rid of the one you don't want.
So this is our producer going to the stores, and you can see, because this is one thing, too, when people would show barren shelves, right? Yeah. Early on, the media would say, that's not really true. That's not a Biden thing. That was from an old video. This was taken yesterday or the day before yesterday. I think this was yesterday, exactly.
Yeah.
You can see the shelves. They were extremely low on supply. Here's what it looked like at 6 stores.
Ridiculous prices.
Yeah. I know this one is fairly decent. I don't know if you're... This one's pretty good.
There's Nutrimogen there. That's what I use.
Wow.
He could have picked that up for me.
What a dick.
What?
Oh.
Jeez.
Glassed off like a diamond necklace. Or pie.
In the corner, there's the Nutrimogen. That's what I use. I haven't been able to find it anywhere. I went to like 9 stores. Lane, get in here. Ginger Snap.
Does he have to come in?
He has to come in.
Okay,
Yes, he absolutely has to come in. Did you see that?
I use the same thing for my son.
For crying out loud.
Get in the chair, Lane. Get in the chair.
You saw that there? You know that's what we use? What's... Did you see in the video? Play the video again just for the first, so he has to watch. You watch what happened.
What am I looking for?
Ridiculous prices.
Hold on a second. Then we go
I know this
right
one is
past there. Nutrivision! There you go. That's enough, Tim. That's enough.
That's it.
There was Nutrivision right there. Just what's wrong with you?
With the cigarettes again.
It's my thing now. I want to make it my thing.
Are we smoking now?
No.
I just want to flick the cigarettes. So tell me what happened. You said one employee even told you actually.
Yeah, so actually at Target, the first store, I ran into two people. The first lady said she was searching for formula for her friend in Iowa.
Jill Biden was there.
Yes.
The first lady.
Sorry. Second lady.
Okay.
But
Former
so
second
she said
lady.
she was looking for a friend in Iowa, and then I met this man who was shopping for his baby. He said he'd been to 5 stores, couldn't find any, and most of the formula he'd been getting recently, he was ordering from Europe.
Right.
Which is technically illegal, as we'll get to later.
It is illegal.
Yeah.
Not technically, like literally.
It's literally illegal.
Right, but it's like...
But here's the thing: parents have been doing this for years. I think we have an overlay from even the New York Times acknowledging that they've been getting it from Europe.
Right, so it's like I said, it's illegal. It's actually illegal, but apparently it's not enforced.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
And what you said an employee to it, Bye Bye Baby.
Yeah.
What did this employee tell you?
So she said the first thing she said. I asked her if this shortage.
Bye Bye Baby's a convenient name if they keep running out.
I know.
That's going to do a
Different
parody.
spelling.
Bye Bye Baby.
Yeah.
I had to starve you so. Okay.
So I asked her if the shelves were like this all the time. And she said, well, ever since COVID started, that it was a little bit down, but over the last couple months, it's been crazy. And that yesterday is as bare as she'd ever seen them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she said whenever they would get a shipment in, it would be gone within 20 minutes.
Gosh.
And she's getting calls every hour from parents asking.
Parents are panic buying right now, too.
Is there anything else you need to let me know?
Well, yeah, so a lot of the stores are, like Gerald alluded to, they're setting limits on how much people can buy now.
Well, it's like toilet paper or gas. People start going, oh, crap, I need some, even if you don't need some right at that moment.
And like at CVS, they had these things. So basically...
Coupons?
Yeah.
That's like Jingle All the Way, a Turbo Man.
Yeah, we get it.
It's
Turbo Man.
Where's the Turbo Man? Are you under the impression there's a Turbo Man here in the studio? We said someone would get one eventually. What I have here is a gift certificate.
Except the beatings are still funnier than Sinbad.
Yes, they are.
It's a great movie. Underrated. Top 5 Christmas.
Actually, it's for a holiday movie with a kid.
It's not
I
bad.
agree.
Yeah,
It's good. That's a fun one.
But at CVS, they had, when you went to the formula section, they had these things that said, oh, available at the front checkout. So I'm thinking, okay, they just have them locked up or something.
Yeah.
And you go back there and you're like, okay, can I get some of these? They're like, oh, no, we don't actually have any of those.
Oh, well, that's how you get those Best Buy robbers. I mean, I can't blame them. Like, I'm just saying, if you ransacked the front, I wouldn't blame you. But I'm going to dock your pay for the formula you didn't pick up.
Wow.
That's on me.
So I want you to be here because there's been a little bit, we had a little bit of a debate during run through here. And I really would love to see you guys commenting below. By the way, the best thing you can do is, do we have the share button?
Yeah, I got that.
Apparently, YouTube now favors sharing the most. Comments and sharing, they don't really care about the likes because for some reason they don't want it to contrast with a dislike. So there are a couple of reasons here. Yes, a company screwed up. I want to be clear about that. But we have major supply chain issues as well, and this is not the fault of one company with contamination. So manufacturers are having difficulty, sort of procuring raw ingredients. So like cow's milk, which is the base for many formulas, it's increasingly hard to come by. You guys know that. Packaging, labor shortages, also they've been contributing to this problem. Now, yes, there was a place, Abbott Laboratories, right? They're one of the places that produces a lot of formula.
Yeah.
And they had, okay, there's been an argument as to whether there was contamination or not. I don't want to get into that. Parents sued them. They claimed that it was contaminated with, I believe, a bacteria. When they searched the facility, they only found it in a place where nothing that actually would be shipped out would have had contact with it. Yeah. Regardless, Abbott voluntarily recalled a bunch of its product, including a lot of Similac formulas. That's a very popular formula for mothers out there. You guys can testify to that.
Another acid reflux one, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right,
Similac,
yeah. And they received complaints. It was, what was the bacteria? Chronobacter sakazaki?
Yeah,
nice. You nailed it.
It's
what?
salmonella.
It's what?
Like really similar to salmonella.
It's just that, so it's like the Wuhan flu of salmonella?
I would have called that Chronobac jet ski.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I would have called it Chronobacter Sea-Doo. Would have gone name brand. I don't know.
Wow.
Like Kleenex. So 5 infants. So let me give you the story that the media wants to give you, and then there's a little bit more to it. 5 infants, children, babies hospitalized after consuming the formula from Sturgis, Michigan. 2 died. Horrible.
Yeah.
That's why you see pictures like this when you go to the stores. You have these warnings. Now, here's the thing. It is a problem because, and this is what you see with big banks, you see it with airline companies, you see it with health insurance companies. The baby formula industry is dominated by a handful of companies. You see it with big tech as well. Really just 4 companies. There's Reckitt Beckensur, there's Nestle, and there's Perrigo or Perrigo. I don't necessarily know how it's pronounced. I don't really care. I don't like Italians. Now,
hey,
that's why I don't like them.
See, right there, that.
Always got to make their voice heard on something. So anytime you look at an industry, you go, okay, look, I understand, okay, this company screwed up. But why are there only a handful? How do you develop this monopoly, duopoly, tripopoly, or a quadopoly, whatever it is at this point? You don't see this in many industries. You don't see it with restaurants. You don't see it with even, like, for example, manufacturing equipment. You see it in a few selected. You see it with big banks. You see it with airlines. You see it with health insurance companies. You see it with big tech. You see it here. These are industries, the one commonality, that are incredibly heavily regulated. Now, to be clear, I know it sounds good. Oh, heavy regulation. If you believed that it actually worked. Keep in mind, remember I told you that Abbott voluntarily recalled it? The FDA didn't catch it. The company recalled it after the harm was done, and then the FDA steps in and says, I recognize this fault. Everybody, look how good I am. And they're useless. And then they just make it more difficult and more expensive for other companies to make it into the marketplace and compete. So, 2021, parents were wanting to make individual choices, right, on baby formula. It was blocked by the FDA. And they cited insufficient amounts of iron for issuing. There was this recall that was issued for insufficient amounts of iron. There was a brand, HIP, I don't know what this means, Holly and Kendamil. They were part of a 76,000 unit recall. Okay, the FDA said there were insufficient amounts of iron.
Yeah. Well, so the FDA is kind of doing the job that they're supposed to be doing in that case. But then in other cases,
what if your family has a history of like hemochromatosis?
Yeah.
In other words, individual choice. You need to account for individual choices. It affects 1 in 300 white people, in which the body can build up too much iron in the skin, heart, liver, pancreas. By the way, this is something that's very well known. It's the reason that people's body processes iron differently. I just gave blood yesterday because I have to keep an eye on it. I've always tended to have higher iron levels. Men's multivitamins, the only real difference is no iron, because women can excrete iron, men can't. We know what excess iron does to the body, and it's a pretty common problem. Parents should have the right to pick formula that is lower in iron. The FDA said no, absolutely not. So they don't allow that choice. Okay. Let's look at this too, the tariffs. There's 17.5% for infant formula coming in.
Jeez.
Now, Biden wants to ease tariffs on China, right? They're goods to reduce inflation now. What about easing tariffs on these other formulas? And by the way, a lot of baby formulas coming over from Europe. I don't know if we have this necessarily in the show map, but there was a bunch of formula that was coming in from Europe, Germany, and it didn't meet labeling laws.
Yeah.
Specific FDA labeling laws, which, by the way, you want to know how useless the FDA labeling laws are? Guess what? You can have food that can be within 10%. Which is a problem for the for the diabetic community, whether it's FDA, USDA. They have these in other words, you would accept it if you go, well, it's because our standards are far more stringent. No, it's not more stringent than Germany, where this formula is allowed. It's just because of a technicality. So in Europe, they can get access to this, but here in the United States, you can't. So we have tariffs. We want to ease it on China. Right now, when we need the formula, we don't allow Americans to make choices, and we put tariffs on the formula that would come in from Europe, where it's perfectly acceptable and probably better than what we're getting from Abbott Laboratories. The point is, when you eliminate choice and you create all of this red tape, it makes the barrier to entry impossible, and so there is less competition. Something else, the FDA didn't enforce the regulations that were already on the books. They inspected Abbott in September 2021 with the following findings: unsanitary conditions in the building itself, failure to wash hands,
oh my God,
and failure to test for microbes in the final product. They also had an outbreak in 2020. What do they get? A warning. Who are you, Hans Bricks?
Wow.
So the point is this: the FDA doesn't look. I don't think it's a legitimate role for the government to say that you can't take something, let's say an experimental drug, if you're willing to accept the risk.
Right.
I do think it's a legitimate role of the government to make sure that you know the risk of something you are consuming from a company, or making sure that the company isn't lying to you about what is in there. For example, if they say, hey, we don't put lead paint chips in our baby formula. They have it in giant, bright, loud letters with singing whistles. Okay. Just have to make sure that you don't actually have lead paint chips in your formula. That's the FDA's job, and they don't do it.
Right. And they actually had a whistleblower for that plant that you mentioned earlier, the Sturgis, Michigan plant. They had a whistleblower, I believe, in October that came forward. They didn't investigate or contact the whistleblower until December, and I don't think they actually went and looked at the plant until a couple of months after that.
Yeah.
And that's the issue that we had. Now, their response, just like with gas prices right now, just like with any of the other inflation, is corporations bad. That's the left's response every single time. No, government, bureaucracy, bad. Historically, communist governments have always had shortages when they step in too much. This is something very similar to that. Like you said, in wine, you have to have the alcohol percentage on the label. It's tiny and insignificant. It doesn't matter. But if you don't have it, you can't sell your product. That's the kind of technicality we're talking
What's
about.
also absurd, though, is that with wine and beer, you don't have to list the ingredients, but you do for other food.
Right.
Yeah, and they're not
exactly.
for babies.
You know how much arsenic is in wine? I'm not even kidding.
Really?
Take a look at it.
Well, I guess it's a good thing that I'm just a bottle of whiskey a day man.
And Old Lace.
Yep.
Well, it's
A
not
lot of
enough to
stuff
kill you,
with-
but just enough to
You
make you
take
sick.
your wine and your healthy heart. I will take my whiskey and Chesterfields. You were about to say something.
The
that
So I
FDA,
agree
though,
with
always-
everything you guys are saying about the FDA, it makes complete sense. It's everything is over
That's for not getting the
regulated.
formula.
So it's just after Finnegan had his little spill.
Doesn't it seem like it's over or under, though? Like, it feels like it's like Ace Rothstein in Casino, where if you have enough money, they just keep putting the application at the bottom of the
So
pile.
that's what I'm.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point that I was getting to. Is yes, the FDA and the government has way too many regulations. The barriers to entry prevent smaller firms from breaking through.
Yeah.
But I also feel like as conservatives, sometimes we automatically have the kind of reactionary response and say, oh, well, government bad, corporations good.
Right. That shouldn't be the case.
In this
either.
case, I think they're both incompetent as all get out. Because how did these 5 companies get this market share? By running the better business in everybody?
No, exactly. They get protection. And here's the thing, too, though. The market ended up correcting itself, unfortunately, after damage was done. Right now, if you have more competition, there's less damage that is done. Think of it. I've always talked about. Think of it as a mouth guard. The way a mouth guard works is it dissipates shock. Right. That's why it makes it really hard to knock your teeth out. People like a little rubber is not going to stop. That's not enough of a shield. It's that it dissipates the reverberation of the shock, and so you're less likely to lose one tooth. More competition, it dissipates the shock. It means that fewer people are affected. It means that the risk is mitigated. The problem is when the government gets involved and you have this overregulation, what it ends up happening is it ends up creating these leviathans, these super companies, and then that shock is so much more impactful.
Yeah, so right now there's an opportunity. If you're an upstart formula producer right now and you want to increase production and or maybe jump into the game and you were doing something similar but not formula, you can't. The regulations right now make it
and
so
the
onerous.
price of everything else.
Yeah.
And you don't, but
and that's
for
the market
sure,
correcting.
These companies have people behind the scenes lobbying for those regulations.
Oh, of course.
Because they're the ones that can afford to live by them.
Well, it's like the big banks.
Or
It's like the big banks.
Amazon.
Or tech.
Of course,
We talked
Amazon
about
is
that.
okay
Yeah.
with increasing payroll tax because they can afford it and it's just going to push their competitors out.
Right, exactly. Or if you look at organizations like BlackRock and Vanguard.
Right.
Look at these organizations, they all, you know what? Perfect example, big tech. When people say, big corporations, look at the most powerful corporations that have ever existed. Why do you think YouTube, right, Alphabet, Google, YouTube, this is all under Alphabet, Facebook, Twitter, Microsoft, Apple, why do you think they entirely support Democrats? For you? You believe that Susan Wojcicki, that Jeff Bezos, that Tim Cook, that Mark Zuckerberg are looking out for you? Do you actually believe that all of them somehow woke up and said, you know, this is what's best for the American people and not what's best for my company or shareholders? No, and this is what's happening with the formula right now. And here's the thing. It happened. There was a contamination. And now the government has stepped in and said, we will do our work. And all they're doing is freezing anything that can be done at this point.
Yeah. Well, stores aren't going to get a lot more product, Abbott said, until July.
Yeah.
They're ramping up production as fast as they can, but that's 2 months. You know what the government solution also is, Stephen? Like, oh, what did we do during World War II? Let's put it under the Defense Production Act so that the government can now control it. Or let's add it to the strategic stockpile, like the masks and stuff we didn't have, right, in this. And it's like, oh, government stepping in and doing more of a bad job. Do you understand how this is going to go?
Well, it's just like, look, this is just like the FBI. The FBI is, okay, you're busy prosecuting people who are wearing, you're not going after the pedophiles and actual domestic terrorists, you're going after people who were on the Capitol lawn with funny hats. This is the problem.
School board meetings.
Right.
We just had that come out in the last couple of days. They did go after people on the school board.
Or beer drinking clubs where they didn't even want to kidnap the governor. FBI, that was you. So you don't have time to go after the people who actually matter. This is what happens with the FDA. Anyone out there who has a job, you know what? Let's use an analogy here with mothers.
Which is at least 30% of the country.
Yes, at least 30% of the
30%,
country.
yeah.
Well, it depends on which metrics you're using. Let's call it a solid 15.
Fair. Yeah. Fair.
So if you're a mother, and let's say you have a baby who has acid reflux, we talk about. That takes some of your energy, right? You have to focus on the acid reflux. You have to focus on that problem. You have to deal with it. Like Prilosec is something that a lot of people use and is recommended. Mayo, when I've worked with them, Prilosec if you have a kid with acid
Detroit
reflux.
Children's Hospital, we were talking about that. Same.
And no, by the way, I'm not sponsored by Prilosec, just to be clear. Okay, I'm not Stephen Colbert sponsored by a big pharma company. But what I'm saying is, if you're a mom, right, and you have a baby with some kind of an ailment, some kind of a disorder, some kind of special need, guess what? You know that your time is limited. We often don't understand that time is a currency, and you can't spend that time addressing other problems. If the FDA is busy grandstanding and right now virtue signaling, they can't do their actual job, and their actual job should be just ensuring that what they claim is on the label is on the label. Not making up new labels, not shutting down companies, not forcing people to take, or if the CDC, take experimental medicine. Hey, the CDC should actually be, compiling statistics more accurately. Instead, they're lobbying the government to make sure that you have to take a vaccine. You only have so much time. It's limited. And so we see, as the FDA grows in scope and grows in power, they're not doing the job that they were basically designed to do, which is ensure that consumers can make decisions with accurate information. So I am pretty libertarian. I believe in limited government. But I also don't believe that corporations should simply be able to go out and lie.
Right.
The FDA has no interest in enforcing the truth. They had the opportunity. They just glanced past it. Why? Because they're more interested in making it seem like they're working than actually doing their job. And everyone who works a job knows it's way easier to make it seem like you're doing a job than actually doing your job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, does the Biden administration really think? Do you really care about the poor? Do you really care about people like that? If this is the issue, if this is what's going on,
right?
And Lane, like what you're talking about with. Like, let's say somebody does get the ingredients they need by some miracle or whatever, and they're allowed to have production make baby formula.
Right.
How long would it actually take? Like, this couldn't actually fix a problem overnight or even close to it. Like, it would be what, years, months?
It's
for another company, it would be years. And right now, we're looking at months for the shortage.
Yeah, at least July.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So it ran at January to April. I think the stat was somewhere 3 to 8% out of stock, right? So if you're a company, if you're an enterprising company, you're out there going, okay, that's normal. And then you start to see, oh, it's up to 11% now. Oh, it's up to 30%. Guys, there's a market opportunity. Something is coming. We can jump into this game, right? If you're in that kind of world already making food products, you might be able to transfer over and go after it, but you can't if there's too much government red tape. If it's going to take you a year to get into the approval process and get your product to the market, you can't do it.
And people are, and this is what I want to be really clear, because it's easy to go, corporations evil, government good when you say red tape. When we say red tape, we don't mean making sure that the companies are providing a safe product for you. They don't enforce that. The product already got out. What we mean is red tape with your paper sitting on a stack. Red tape with, well, this label doesn't have the right font size, or you know what, sorry, you can't use Comic Sans, whatever the hell it is.
Right.
I agree with that.
It has to be in Helvetica.
Right.
What about Helvetica Bold? No!
Never.
But we know that we can't just rush something. It's dangerous.
No.
Vaccine.
I agree. Yeah.
What?
No.
You almost had me. And then you did have me.
Yes.
You got me. So Tom Cotton actually called out the FDA and the Biden administration on Twitter. He said the FDA needs to step up immediately, be transparent, explain how it will get production restarted, and give parents a timeline. The Biden administration needs to take this seriously. That's a fair statement. That's a fair request. I think we have a path to how we can do that here. However, when asked what the FDA was, I almost said FAA and I said FDA. I also hate the FAA.
Oh, they all suck.
When they were asked what just 3-letter organizations, they're all just the pits. When they were asked what the FDA was doing to fix the problem, Jen Psaki gave this incredibly coherent response.
What the FDA is doing, which while they're independent, they are part of the administration, is taking a number of steps to address. That includes working with major infant formula manufacturers to ensure they're increasing production.
Getting a
because
Weird
part
Al
of this
signer.
issue is, of course, making sure there's stock on the shelves,
It's like
right?
Chelsea Clinton.
And working with the industry right now to optimize their supply lines, product sizes to increase capacity, and prioritizing product lines that are of greatest need.
Could you hear? You couldn't hear that, could you?
No, but I put that in there. So
Okay, yeah. I love it. It's just optimizing supply lines. What?
Yeah. It's like every word from a business school textbook that you memorize for the test.
Synergy.
Can you imagine if she just comes in as an efficiency expert to your company? She's like, okay, let me see. All right, let me see the bottle.
Yeah.
Well, seems here what you need to do is optimize.
I mean, that's McKinsey. Like that's the
Yeah, it
whole
is.
industry that
My
we
work
know,
here is
so-
done.
No, I love what she said. Basically, the market does this. She's like, we're working with them to make sure that they understand that there's a demand for a product that they make, and that if they make more of it, they'll sell more of it and get more money. And I'm like, did you really need to call them for that?
Yes.
Every other company right now is like, ho, baby, market share, let's go. You don't have to call for that.
No, you don't
Just
have to call.
get out of the way.
We called them and we told them that people need. We called the baby formula company and told them that there are people who want to purchase baby formula, and we'll let you know what they come back with.
Yeah, we're going to use a bunch of words you don't understand.
The whole thing, and I guess my last point on this, is it's just kind of a sick, incestuous relationship between like left-wing politics and these big business people, the cronies.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's okay, the government makes regulations, left-wing politicians make regulations that only mega companies can afford to implement.
Right.
So they push the market, they push everyone else out of the market, and then they continue to fund the re-election campaigns for the same people that are going to make more regulations to make them more powerful. And it's just
because you and I were talking about this. Unfortunately, you were talking about like plastics. They were getting plastics from China. I don't know how it came up. We were talking about was it the bottles for the formula?
Yeah, the
and plastics getting it from China. You're saying why don't they get that? Be able to get that from Wisconsin. And I agree. Look, I agree that it would be fantastic if we could get everything in the United States. It's not possible sometimes.
Right.
For example, the mugs that we sell, we get the mugs from China. They're hand painted and etched in the United States. Do you know why? No one could. If please send what tips at louderwithcrowder.com?
Sure.
Tips at Louder. If there's an American company that can make this mug
Yeah, we're looking.
to the scale that we need, let us know. Not a shitty mug with a screen print, but but the truth is there haven't been any American companies who are willing to make it or who can scale to what we need. Same thing often with plastics. Wisconsin, well, that's a big union state. The steel in the furniture industry.
Oh, yeah.
Long before COVID, they had to go to Eastern Bloc country. I don't know if it's Lithuania or Latvia. I could be something with an L in there. Maybe it's Belarus. I have no idea. Well, that was, by the way, Pittsburgh, the steel shut down long before we stopped needing steel.
Oh, yeah.
It was too expensive, and the quality was lower because you have unions who elect Democrats, and then the Democrats say, we'll give you kickbacks, and eventually it ends up killing the industry because no one wants to go to them for raw material. So it would be great, kind of like you're saying, it's a reactionary sort of response for conservatives to say, oh, corporations good, government bad, which of course none of us agree with. It's also a little bit of a reactionary response where you have people who are like, you should buy American.
Right.
You have people like, you're driving a jet car, you should buy American. Well, see, the thing that you fail to understand, sir, is I've driven enough American cars.
No, I completely agree with that. I guess the only thing that I would add on to that is a lot of these companies that could produce these things in America outside of like the union regulations do it for cost effectiveness. So you don't have a minimum wage in China. You can have Uyghur Muslims make whatever you want for free because they're not people according to the Chinese government. So they outsource stuff there, and instead of preparing for a strong economy that can respond well to black swan events like COVID, they went for we need to make every single penny we can by cutting costs everywhere we can, offshore jobs, offshore production.
And unfortunately, that's also exacerbated by the government taxes and by making, profit margins are very, very slim for a lot of companies.
Yes.
People don't understand that. And so it encourages, and then of course, when you say we're going to reduce tariffs from China on goods from China. So now, okay, it's even more cost effective. And by the way, we're going to levy more taxes on you. It's like, oh my gosh, my profit margins just shrank, and they just gave me an incentive to get things from China.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that we have. And that is where the America First, Donald Trump, people say it was racist. You look at what happened with Ford. You look at what happened with companies where it actually became more cost effective. For a good example, within the United States, Elon Musk, Tesla.
Yeah.
It's the electric car. It should live in California. He went to Texas. We could do that on an international level. Unfortunately, we're not.
Well, there's just too many people that want to look at corporations and wag their finger, but they're getting the campaign funds from them and say, all we have to do is tax these windfall profits. That's what Robert Reich, that moron, keeps saying. And I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. That's not what's driving our problem. The problem is this administration doesn't have a clue on how to handle inflation and reopening an economy.
Yeah.
It was obvious.
Good at making
the economy, the economy, exactly. They're great at making inflation work for them. But the economy, it was obvious that it was coming back. Anyone who was trying to get into politics at that time and be a leader at any level should have known this thing's about to open wide and we need to be ready for it. And yet you put the mayor of a small town in Indiana in the position as Secretary of Transportation, and it's like, oh, good, yeah, he's going to know a whole lot about how to handle this.
For crying out loud, that guy doesn't even drive because he Ubers. You can't drive home on GHB from Adonis Club.
No.
Have you tried?
Coke at Knights of Columbus all night?
For crying out loud.
He worked for McKinsey too.
Well, not
He
in
worked
it,
for
behind
McKinsey?
it.
Oh, nice. Oh, good.
I hate that company.
He was a mayor of South Bend and he worked for McKinsey.
It's a motorcade of sorts.
qualified.
Yes.
Oh, he took 3 months off to
motorcade.
chest feed as well.
Yeah, South Bend, there's lots to do there, like drink and go to a college that's not so good.
Well, that college technically is not in South Bend. It is
I know,
in Notre
joking.
Dame,
Look,
Indiana.
let me distill.
I know, it's Michiana.
Let me distill this for you, okay, really quickly, because people try and make this very, and I agree with a lot of the points that you're making, and I think there's a big difference between crony capitalism and corporatism, who, by the way, this is why the biggest, most powerful companies in the world, and also the big banks, favor Democrats. Overwhelmingly, it's not even close. Big tech, big banks, look at them. Big media. When you talk about corporate media, man, why do you think they overwhelmingly favor the Democrats? It's not even close. So they're not looking out for you. That being said, yes, Abbott screwed up, had this contamination. The degree of which we don't necessarily know.
Right.
The FDA didn't do their job. That's the only reason that the contamination got out and affected people. However, look, Occam's razor here. Do you think that all of the entire shortage of baby formula that affects all of you right now and children, which is probably why Republicans, conservatives are more concerned with it, because they want them to live.
Well, that's true.
Mm-hmm. True.
Do you think that it's affected because of one company, Abbott Laboratories, had a contamination, to a small degree? Or do you think that there's a shortage with formula for perhaps the same reason that there's been a shortage and inflation of everything? Now, this is more severe, but remember, when there were empty shelves not long ago, the media said, no, it's not happening. It's not true. Everybody who's been doing grocery shopping, and this is why I say talk with moms. Guess what?
Yeah.
If the moms are doing the grocery shopping in the house, they've seen the shelves. They've gone to, where do we go? Kroger, Tom Thumb, Target, Walmart, CVS. I've made those runs. We've seen them for ourselves. The media can only for so long say, don't believe your lying eyes and lying ears. They just never saw the formula shelves. Completely barren. So is it just because of one company and, corporation bad and they should be the target of our ire? Or is it just a more severe version of what we've been seeing for months? The commonality across the board is, what is this administration? Is the government intervention? Is the policies that we have been enacting? And by the way, it's important to look at the contrast between then and now, 2 years ago, versus what you're seeing. The shelves were empty for a long time, depending on what it was: beef, milk, eggs. Take your pick in any given week. There was something that you couldn't find. Now it's formula. Look for the constant. Look for the pattern. Doesn't mean that corporations are blameless. Of course not. I'm not the party of big business. I'm not the party of small business. I'm the party of good business. I don't care how big you are, so long as you're not taking my tax dollars for subsidization and so long as you're not lying to me. Now, we know that everything might seem hopeless with all these endless government regulations, these incompetent companies. making baby formula. They also shouldn't have Mr. Magoo on the factory line. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, it's silly.
But our team did uncover one last reliable source, and this is actually research that came from Ginger Snap. He
uncovered this during
he did uncover this. We have an exclusive. This is our new segment, Street Beats, and we hope that it helps mothers in need.
Yeah, this is some good formula right here. Some good baby formula right here. Here comes a customer right now. Please step aside, camera crew. So, you were looking for some baby formula or something?
Yeah, man, I heard you got some of that baby formula with iron.
I got some baby formula with iron right here for you right now.
Oh, my baby's so hungry, man. Can I buy some, please?
Oh, your baby's so hungry right now? What, you got $5,000 for your baby's hunger?
$5,000, man? Come on, I'll give you like $200, please.
Oh, I don't got time for that kind of sad story. I need $5,000 for this pure baby formula.
Do you take jobs, or maybe jobs?
I'll do a job or job, but no job. Sorry, not into that.
Okay, get in.
All right.
All right. Would you mind holding my baby while I his?
Yeah, it's probably safer.
Yeah.
I guess for the kid. Yeah.
Just make sure she's not looking at me, okay?
Okay.
Things you do for family, you know? I'm actually going to pull over, okay, and feed her real quick. She's real hungry,
Yeah,
all
that's
right?
probably a good idea.
Let me just taste to make sure it's pure.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Son of a bitch, this is cocaine.
Couple of notes. The hat isn't enough of a disguise, but your child will be productive as hell.
Yes, that's true. Up all night screaming.
Yes.
Well, and cleaning.
Yeah, cleaning. Also, buying more baby formula.
I needed a dad hat.
Yes.
So that's what I... So I realized, I look in the mirror, I'm like, this is not how a man who's almost 40 used to dress.
That's when I stopped wearing hoodies. Did you know that? I looked in the mirror and I was like, I can't wear these anymore. I'm a man.
Yeah, this is, and I put on today a shirt with a monkey and a space helmet smoking a cigarette.
Well, I like it. I like it because monkeys would not typically be found smoking cigarettes.
They would not.
Well, if they're about to die
Well,
in
what if they're
space because-
typing, though, in the 50s on a comedy show?
I particularly also like it when babies talk like adults.
Yes, I
that's
enjoy.
my favorite.
Those are the two things I enjoy.
Yeah.
Also, babies do tend to talk like adults when you give them cocaine. Did you know that?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, it's true.
It activates that portion of their brain.
Yep.
Something about it.
Absolutely does. Don't even get me started on crack.
Oh,
wow.
You have to blow it in their face.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow.
I mean, people use the term crack baby like it's a bad thing.
I know, right?
I mean, it's just an untapped resource. We could have an army of crack babies. I would take an army of crack babies over the representatives that we have in the halls of Congress right now.
I once saw a crack baby turn over a bus to save its mother.
No, that was Jesus at the temple.
Oh.
Yeah, there was no
bus?
crack involved. It was just anger at them selling stuff at the temple.
Oh.
Oh, no, wait. The crack baby did that too. Yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
both
Okay.
could.
Oh, okay.
Both things can be true.
Yeah.
So look, I have we have a segment here. I think I want to get into it a little bit more. So we'll do this a little bit next week because everyone gets mad if we don't do enough chats on Chat Thursday. However, the CDC, I think it was May 10th, put out stats on crime.
Yeah.
The increasing homicide rate, and they tried to say it was systemic racism and inequities caused by COVID. Blah, 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 blah. Look, I'll just give you a spoiler alert. No, if you add it up racially, those who would be systemically oppressed, they make up 76% of the homicides, which is a staggeringly low rate. But all suicides are by white people. So I looked at it, read the PDF, I said, this doesn't pass the sniff test. Wait, those who are oppressed are killing other people who are oppressed because there's black on black crime, brown on brown crime. But the oppressors, the white people, are killing themselves?
They're racist against themselves.
They're racist against themselves. So white people are committing suicide, but black and brown people, to a rate of 75 to 78%, are committing the homicides, and it's because they're oppressed. But they're not committing the suicides, which, by the way, that's a good thing. We should look into if there's some kind of genetically, if there's a protective gene for African Americans against the suicide.
Well, wouldn't they be killing the oppressors if they were being oppressed?
You would think so, but that's far too sensible. We'll discuss this more in a way that we could never discuss on YouTube because race. And you know what? We'll also talk about women with penises, too, because we can't talk about it on YouTube because it's immutable. So right now, I'm going to smash the like button, share, comment. It's okay. You don't need to hit that, Tim. They know. They don't need an on-screen prompt. You know. And right now, I'm going to hit the mute button on YouTube.